Hello everybody, this is Artie Mate and I've come to show you a little tutorial on, well, I'm actually going to organise a swap over on Junk Journal Junkies UK with like a loaded pocket, because I thought it would be, nice for beginners to do. I'm actually making them out of a 12 by 12 piece of paper, only because I've got quite a lot of them, these, and I thought, well, I just must start using them because I tend to use my own designs all the time. So I just thought I'll get these out and we'll mix and match a bit, and I'll show you how to do the basis of the pocket, which of course you can change, and yes, you can make it out of anything you want, but I'm just going to, I just fancied some pretty paper around me while I was making them. So I'll go and get my things a minute and I will be back. So you cut your paper down to 5.5 times 12 inches, okay, and then you score. I've pre-scored mine, so, and then you'll score at 1/2 inch both sides, but I tend to do it 1/2 inch there, then I flip over and do my 1/2 inch because I'm left-handed, okay, and then you score at 5, okay, and what we need to do is cut away all this below that line there. So we cut away that, and we cut away all that, okay. So I'll be back when I've done that, okay. So it now looks like that. So you've cut away both the sides on the longest bit, okay, because that actually is going to, yeah, that way, okay. Fold it up that way. You can do it whatever, what pattern you like, or whatever you do it the way you want to do it, but I'm going to do it like so. Right, so you need to miter the corner, not miter, but you just need to just take a slither up there. That stop it catching when it shuts. So I'll just take a bit off there, and I also like to use this to do the score lines, because I just think they lay, if you do that now, they lay a lot flatter. Like so. So then that will sit on there like that. And I like to make a hole in this bit with my round punch. I don't centralise it. I do centralise it, but I do it all by eye. I do it that way, you see. So now, and I like to also round the tops of these. And if you're going to ink it, then now is the time to ink round everything here. Okay, so I'll do that. Oh, and I also, before I carry on, is I like to shape these a little bit at the top there as well. Like so. I'm not used to standing up working, so I look a bit shaky. That's that. So can I ink around this bit as well? Okay, I tend to do off the outside when I've finished, actually. So that's the first bit done. Okay, so now we need to make the 2 pockets that go over the top of those. Okay, so you need to cut a piece, or one piece is 1 3/4 by 5, and the other one is 2.5, I think. I'll just check. Yes, 2.5 times 5. So if I write that on there, we always rub it out. So 2.5 times 5. Okay. Then you score at 1/4 inch. Okay. 1/4 inch that side. Turn around. 1/4 inch that side. Okay, now what I've done here is I've made a very faint score line, which you'll see why I've done it. Okay, which that should be at 1/2 inch. Just do a very, very, very gentle score line. Okay, so you can actually see that a bit later, and I'll show you what you'll be doing with that. And a smaller one, which is 1 3/4 times 5, is again score at 1/4 inch both sides and on the bottom there. Okay, so that's all done. Then do your inking, and and also, you know, make sure you do this with you. Yeah, like that. Don't do that one though. That's only a guide for something. So I do those. Yeah. And this one's already done. So I'll be back in a minute after I've inked everything. Okay, it's all been inked. So what I forgot to tell you is I also shape the tops as well here, and you need to cut away, excuse my stomach rumbling, cut away here as well. So I just sort of slightly miter it there, and then it will, like so. I hope you can see that. Yeah, like so. So that gives a nice finished edge there. Okay, like that one. And on here I just do the bottom. Oh no, that's right, I just do the top here, like so, like that. Then here, where that line is that we scored along here, okay, what I do, I go from the top, okay, and I just shape that like so. Yeah, and go from the line, okay, and then just go towards the other one. All right, and then it ends up looking like that. Okay, because what this does, which I'll show you quickly before we put it all together, is this one goes at the bottom, yeah, there, like so. That's stuck down. This one actually slides in, okay, and those, you stick that one down first, and then you slide that one in there, yeah, and then what it does, you don't get so much bulk here, or else there would have been about 4 layers on this bit here, and it down here, and it would have been too thick. So it stops that, and you still utilize the pocket, you know, no problem. But what happens is, oh, that's right, and I also make a hole in there as well. And I don't on this one because I'm actually going to decorate it before I assemble it, because I want to put lace. I think I'm going to cover all this in lace, and that one perhaps, and do something with this one. So I actually don't want to glue any of it down until I've finished my next bit, okay, which I'm going to go ahead and have a little play to see what happens. But you can see now why I cut that away, then you haven't got so much bulk there. All right, but the pocket is still active. Okay, so I'll see you in a moment once I've worked out what I'm going to do with the pocket. Okay, thank you. Okay, I've gone and picked some lace out. So I just thought, well, actually, you know, I didn't really need that there, but I'm going to sort of put that there. Then, well, I don't need it to the bottom. And then, where's my bit there? Okay. Then I was going to put that there. I'm not sure whether to put a bit more lace on here, like so. And then that might be at the bottom there. Let's have a look. No, I just think the one actually for now. And then I'll most probably put a little bit of this through here, but then you'll still see the pattern. Yeah, I quite like that. That's quite nice. Yeah, I've also got ones to go with this as well, because I cut several out, so I've got bits and pieces everywhere, which this one, if you, again, Yvonne Preston was on about this. See, this was what happens sometimes. So like where I've scored, it does break some of these. So, you know, if we want it totally coordinated, I would do that. And then have the other way around. on the bottom, and then maybe put some lace on the bottom one like that, you see, which I think could look quite nice. Yeah, I do. Right, so I'll go ahead and start to stick this down. Yeah, which all I do is glue along here. That's it. I used to make these sort of things when I made mini albums, so until I knew what I was doing, I wasn't going to stick it down there. So, but covering with lace is no problem. But I'll use a different glue for that. Fabri-Tac, which is amazing, but it's expensive. It does its job. I mean, you decorate how you want to, you know, this is just my take on it, really. Just do that. I don't want to lag it with glue because this will stick down. And I always put it down and then I trim after. Just put a tiny bit under here. Yeah, leave that to dry, and then I'll trim it that way. I mean, you can sew these as well, you know, get your machine out and sew if you want to, which would look lovely. But this one, because I've got a little, you know, to add some more room in the pocket, I don't want it sewn, so. The top bit there. Okay, and we was going to use the next one plain, wasn't it? It's going to be like that, wasn't it? That's it. But we always stick down the bottom one first, actually, which I'll show you why in a minute. Whereas I think if I'm going to add lace to that one, I can do it after. So I will stick this down now and show you what I mean. Some glue on the bottom there, 2 sides. Most of the time I do ½ inch here, but because I didn't want too much bulk, I sort of tried to keep it to a minimum, so 1/4 inch is fine for these little pockets. Right, so I stick this one down now, which I don't mind that in the pocket, because when you put some, you know, yeah. Oh gosh, distress ink on it. It will be fine. Right, so let's get that one all stuck down first, and make sure that's just slightly there. That's it. I've got time to manoeuvre it. While that's drying, I shall ink up that. Blend it in, and it looks all as one then, doesn't it? I mean, it'll look odd until the next one's in. Right, so this is the next one, so we don't put any glue on the bottom here. Okay, that just slips in inside. Bit of glue there. Now. Literally just tucks in. There you go. Just lightly straighten that up a little bit. That's better. See, and that's all nice and flat in that area there. Okay, or else you might have had 1, 2, 3 lots there, which should have made it very bulky, but this way it keeps it all nice and flat. I mean, it's not my idea. I can't even remember where I saw that, but it was years ago when I used to do it with my mini albums that I used to make, and I always done the pockets that way. I just feel, well, it's not quite straight still. That's better. I think it was actually the lace that wasn't quite straight. So that's annoying me now, you see. That's it. That's better. There we go. And then I think I add some lace to this and maybe there. So I'll be back in a minute once I've found out what I'm doing. Okay, thank you. Right, what I thought I'd do on this one, just to sort of finish it off for now until I see what's in, because I'm going to stuff it with things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, because, it's a bit of a raw edge there, put a bit of lace on here, and then I thought I'd utilise a bit of a trimming, what I've trimmed off, and most probably put that there. And I'm thinking perhaps I won't glue totally to the top, and then you can always tuck little things in here, even if it's only one side, because you might have something over here or you need something here, or vice versa. So what I'm going to do is just run a bead of glue along the bottom there and keep the top edge open until I find out what actually I'm going to do. So I'll glue that down a minute. Let's do that. I'm only using very, very fine lace too, because I find the pockets in themselves are, can get a bit bulky with everything in. So I keep my lace down to a minimum, the thickness rather. Oops. You stay there. So just trim that off a minute. That's it. And then I'm actually not going to use that one now. I need to keep that for fabric, or else it just disintegrates. All right, what's way up are we going to do? I think I'll glue it down on there. So I'm just going to run bead glue along the bottom there. Keep the top open for a little tuck spot that we might need. You might not need it, but just in case. That's it. Okay. And that white edge is there. Right, so I think I'm going to leave it like that until I've put tags in and things like that, and then I'll finish off down here with some decoration. Again, that will fit so nicely into, into journals, no problem at all. There's no thickness there at all, look. And that's, it's quite a good card, so. Okay, right, so I'll be back shortly. Bye-bye. Okay, so what I've done is I've placed a butterfly here on some of the fibres with some open weave fabric that you can fray. That's all I've done there. So I think actually a nice little word along here somewhere would look quite nice as well. So that's all I've done to decorate. I've kept it quite simple. Oh, and also backed around the edges with a tiny bit of lace, because I don't want it to come out too much, because I want it to fit into a journal. So that's there. Okay, and what else I've done is I made a couple of tags from the paper. That was the leftover bits, just a couple of plain ones. Very simple, I've kept it very simple. Another one there. Just a plain coffee stained one. And then found some little tickets and things just to all go in. So what I decided I'll do, I made a little mason jar for me. Mason jar die, just again very simple. So I've kept this one lovely and simple. You can go very elaborate. I've seen some absolutely fantastic ones. So then you can decide. This one is a bit on the short side, but just to show you what I mean, I'll just place that there for now. Two plain ones in here, I think, like that. That would look nice in the middle, like so, I reckon. Because you've got plain, and then pattern, which will pick up this, which is good. And then you've got all these little things here. Again, just tickets and things that you've got lying around. That's all I've done. There, postcard perhaps here. This one. And I think that would go nice there. Actually, I'll put that onto the side a bit. Like that. Look at that colour. Oh, and we had a tuck spot here, didn't we? So that could go something like that. There we go. And that's it, finished. So that's out of a 12 by 12 piece of card, or thick paper really. It's not too thick because again, you don't want it to and too thick to go in your journal. And I think that would be a nice, you know, page for your inside cover or anything like that. So I'm going to do another one, and it's going to be done out of a brain, because they do tend to do them out of the envelopes, 6 by 9 envelopes. Yeah, great, but that's 6 inches wide, which I do find that a little bit too wide for my journals. And if I, you know, they're okay, they're lovely as a gift, but I want things to go in my journal. So I tend to try and, you know, make things that will fit in. So I'm going to do another one out of some brown paper, just in case you haven't got any pattern card or anything like that, and we can decorate that one from scratch. So I hope you like the video, and I hope it's helpful for you. I've had fun making them, and again, you can go quite elaborate with them, and I've kept this one on the very basic side. You know, there's a lot of beginners out there that ask, you know, questions on how to do things, so I thought this would help them a bit. And so thank you very much for watching, and speak to you again shortly. Bye bye for now.